Hey guys, Xoranath here with part 2 of our Beginner's Guide to Territory War series. Today I'm going to talk about team compositions for Territory War defenses. And the idea behind this video is not to just give you defenses and put them up on the screen, say gear them this way, and then you copy the defenses. I want to teach you to how to think about creating territory war defenses. I think that'll be a lot more helpful for you. I am going to be providing some examples, but those are mostly just to demonstrate concepts. I'm not saying you guys should use the specific teams I'm going to show you here or anything. You could if you really want to. A couple other things, I'm going to be showing you talking about some guidelines for teams, but I'll say, play with what you guys want to play with, experiment, and there's always going to be elements with unique abilities and passives and exceptions to all of these guidelines that I'm sure you guys will run into. First thing for your teams, if you're just starting out, I would recommend that you run 3 different elements for your defenses. So you could do fire, tree, and water. You can switch out any of those with the light and dark. The reason for that is you want to not set yourself up to be easily countered by the other elements. So if you run, for example, an all fire team, if I see an all fire team on a tower, I'm going to go in with an all water team, and I'm going to have a significant advantage against your defense, and 95% of the time I'm going to win. Maybe there's something weird with it and you lose, but I advise you guys to stick away from all single element defenses, with one exception. If you want to do all light or dark or a combination of the two, I think those are okay. There are some risks associated with that, but definitely stay clear of all water, all tree, or all fire defenses, and I would also say stay away from doubling up the elements. So don't run 2 fire, don't run 2 water, don't run 2 tree, because you end up running into the same situation. So with that, when you're building a team, the next thing I want you guys to think about is we're gonna focus on the type of team that you're trying to build, and I'm gonna characterize these in 2 different ways. So 1, we're gonna have speed teams, and 2, we're gonna have tanky teams, and we're gonna build them completely differently. So what this is going to determine is the type of leader you're going to have. So we'll talk a little bit about the different leaders. So if you're trying to do a speed team, the idea behind the team is you're going to go first. So you need to have a speed lead. And if you go into the bestiary, you guys can check out all the speed leads, and the ones that you really care about are the universal speed leads, which there's not a whole lot, mostly 4 and 5 star units. There's 1 3-star unit, which is the light hog, and then also the guild leads, which there's not a lot here, and are 4 stars and then LD4, and there's some LD5s mixed in there too, but chances are probably not working with those. So if you are doing a speed team, you'll need to pick a speed lead. If you're doing the tanky team, the leads I recommend are going to be defense, HP, or resistance. Now, there are other leads, the accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, attack. I would recommend you guys stay away from those leads if you're just starting out. The reason is, so for tanky teams, you're essentially saying you're going to take turn 2 to start, so you're assuming the enemy's going to be attacking you because they'll probably be running a speed team, or maybe they're out bruisering you. But if you are running HP, defense, or res, there's a better chance that you'll survive that first turn and be able to, your defense will be able to fight back. If you're running these other leader skills, attack, for crit rate, you might have units that do a lot of damage, but you're probably going to die in the first turn just because you're not going to be tanky enough to survive. It's just a weird spot because you're going to have damage, but you're going to be too slow to take turn 1 because they're going to outspeed you with a speed lead. And then you're not going to be tanky enough because you don't have the extra defense or HP to survive the hit. So I think the attack, the crit rate, crit damage, accuracy leads are harder to work with. So if you're just starting out, I would recommend you stay away from those leads and stick to one of these other groups. I'll talk a little bit about control teams first. So if you are running I'll talk about speed teams first. Sorry, if you're wanting to run a speed team, right? So we'll take a speed lead. I think there's really two general ways you can go with your team following that. Just gonna get back to the main screen here. You could either be a control team, which focuses more on elements from like disablers and disruptors. These are all units that do things like attack bar pushback, stun, freeze, sleep, cooldown increase for enemies. So it's really a lot of crowd control or CC abilities. So the idea behind a control team is you take turn 1, you want to strip off all of the buffs that the enemy has, and then you want to apply a bunch of debuffs and essentially make it hard for the enemy to even move. You've probably ran into some of these teams where you just don't even get to play just because they're controlling you so much. So an example of, if I wanted to run through an example team here, so a great control speed lead is the red specialist. So this unit, it has the 25 speed lead, so check. In a control team, one of the first unit you want to move ideally is a stripper of some sort. So if the enemy has immunity on, you want to strip that immunity off so that you can apply all of your nasty debuffs, right? And red specialist is really fun because we have this passive which has a probability of turning their buffs into damage over time. And then we also have this AoE attack to attach it to, and that is essentially going to strip buffs, give them dots, and stun them. So that's accomplishing all the goals of a control team. So this unit is, and it's a disruptor. This unit is a super powerful unit for control teams. So if we wanted to build out a team around red specialist, so red specialist takes turn 1, it moves in, now what? So we could pick another element. So we want to stay away from the fire elements now. So if we go and pick, let's see, what do I have? Oh, I have disruptors on. If we go and take, say, water man-at-arms as another unit, so this is a disabler, right? So another type of unit that we want to try to include in a control team. So this unit has a really fun S3 where it's going to do an AoE, it's going to deplete their action bar and freeze them. So if you think about this, if red spec goes, it's going to strip all the buffs off, it's going to potentially put dots on them and stun them, and then if man-at-arms comes in, it's going to reset their attack bar and potentially freeze them. So you can see how we're really just applying a bunch of debuffs to the enemy and not letting them move. And then a third unit, if you wanted to put one in, again, trying to think of a different element, we could go to the free-to-play War Nurse, where this unit could move third, and then if it does this S3, it will further reduce the action bar of the units it hits. It's probably going to be hitting something with a debuff, so it's going to reduce their cooldown, and then it's going to reduce the cooldown of your allied team. So if we think about this team in full, right, you're going to have the red specialist go in, it's going to strip, put some dots, put some stun, and then you're going to reset the enemy's attack bar, freeze them, then go in with this attack, and you're going to push the attack bar back again, reset or reduce your own team's cooldown. So you can see how if you're fast enough, you could pretty much cycle through that, and the enemy team might not even get to move. So that's the idea behind a control team. You really want to have fast runes with good accuracy if you're running a control team. Now I showed those were all 5-star units. But if we wanted to talk about, just a generic 4-star example, Fire Ghost Captain is a good unit. So we have the speed lead. He has this S3 here that does, it's an AoE attack, and then it's going to put some slow on them and push their action bar back. So kind of accomplishing some similar goals there, just with a less premium unit. And then who could we pair that with? So we need a a stripper, right? So if we wanted to take a 4-star stripper, just an example, we could take the Green Annihilator, which has this S3, so it's going to attack all the enemies, and then it's going to potentially strip buffs off of them and then apply stun and dots to them. So you could go in, you could strip off the buffs with the Green Annihilator, go in with your Red Pirate and push their attack bar back and put slow on them. And if you really want a full control team like that, you could also, into that same team, bring like Water Puppet, because Water Puppet has this passive where when it hits, it's going to put defense down on them and decrease their action bar. And then it has this AoE attack where it's going to do freeze, sleep. So you could freeze them, sleep them, reduce their action bar, and put defense break on them. And we have 3 different elements. So again, that's a way to think about this control team, but from just like a 4-star team perspective. Now, another type of speed team that's kind of focused on different thing, I call it, like a damage team. So here the idea is you want to bring in fast units and you want to bring in strong units, and you basically want to kill something on the first turn, or, as soon after as it can, right? So the idea here is it's really focused around nukers. So you could go in and check out the different nukers we have. These are your big damage dealers. And ideally for a damage team, you're going to have some combination of a booster, a stripper, defense break, attack booster, and then your damage dealer. One type of unit I want to talk a little bit about, and this also applies to control teams, so you could slot these in pretty well, is the boosters or the initiators. So these guys are designed to go first in your team and do a combination. Usually it's boost your team's attack bar, so you want this to be a very fast unit, boost your team's attack bar, and then it enables the rest of your team to be slightly slower because they're taking advantage of the boost. So usually you'll have some kind of booster to start you out, and then you'll have some kind of setup unit that's going to like put attack boost on your team, and or defense break onto the enemy, and then you're going to have a nuker to come in and finish things. So if I wanted to think of just a basic example of what this would look like, so we want a speed lead, right? So first I'm going to go back to a speed lead. So we're going to take, for this example team, Blue Surgeon as our damage dealer. So he's a core, so he does okay damage. It's not like amazing damage or anything, but he's a suitable damage dealer, and he's a speed lead. So he's going to check our boxes for what we need for being our damage dealer. And we're going to pair him, let me go back, with the, let me get rid of this. So if we pair the Blue Surgeon with the Fire Music Queen, which is an initiator, we are going to have this AoE strip and attack bar pushback. So the idea here is this unit goes first. It's going to strip all the buffs off the enemy, push their attack bar back, and then if we pair it with a defense breaker, so for example, this Light Wisp Catcher has this AoE defense break. You go in, strip with the Red Music Queen, Wisp Catcher comes in, AoE defense break on one, and it's also going to push the attack bar back more. And then we have the Surgeon come in and damage and hopefully finish off whatever you decide to hit. So it's hopefully going to hit focus on whatever had the defense break. If we wanted to look at another example, you could take the Fire Ripper as potential as one of your damage dealers. Where is he? That's the thing with these lists of units. I feel like I spend more time trying to figure out the unit I'm looking for than if it was just like a list of names. Anyway, so here's our Fire Ripper, who does have a guild speed lead, so he's going to be our speed lead. And if we pair this unit with a really strong initiator, so the Blue Ant Cannon, which if you played Summoner's War is basically Orion, has this cool S3 where it's going to do everything you want. So it's going to remove buffs, it's going to stun and put defense break, and it's going to increase action bar. So this is a great setup unit for both control teams and for damage nuker teams. So if we go in and have a speed lead, we're going to go real fast. This guy goes first, boosts the rest of our team, sets up the damage dealers. So with this setup, we could actually bring in a second damage dealer. So we could have the Red Ripper as damage dealer 1, and you could pick another damage dealer. So, one popular one in that type of comp is like Sky Police, and it'll do this. It'll boost itself up. For defense, it's a defense-based nuker. Boost itself up and then do a lot of damage with this S3. So you could have 2 nukers in your team, or another option instead of the light Sky Police could be the green Sky Police, if I could find it on here. We need like a timer for how long it takes me to find these. So this is a little bit of a different strategy here, but this one's going to attack all the enemies, and then it's going to give you attack up and speed up. So you could set up your Red Ripper with that unit, because Red Ripper is an attack and speed scaling unit. So, if you want to put all, some of your best damage onto this unit, you could increase its speed, increase its damage with the green tree, and then have this kind of be your nuker. Or, you could bring 2 nukers, different options. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about tanky teams. So generally for a tanky team, you're going to go turn 2 with your team. So that means you're anticipating the enemy's going to move first and they're going to hit your team. So you need to be able to survive. So a lot of the units that you're going to be bringing in to a tanky team are going to be, believe it or not, tanks. So we can go check some of these out. So these are going to be some slower, bulkier units. There's going to be core are also pretty good in this type of team, where they're kind of more bruisery damage dealers, and then also support. So these are going to be your healers, your cleansers, your revivers, your defense boosters, things like that. So a combination of those elements, or in those elements, are pretty much what's going to make up a good tanky team. Now, a couple things to note with these types of teams. I recommend that for at least one unit, you have a set of Corrupt Runes. So Corrupt Runes are going to decrease the enemy's max HP over time. If you have a tanky team, you're assuming this is going to be a longer match, because you're probably not going to be able to do enough damage to, clear the enemy out fast. So the longer the match, the better Corrupt Runes will do for you. They'll help you prevent your defense from kind of stalling out and not killing the enemy, because it'll slowly work them down over time. So highly recommend you guys bring Corrupt Runes. Other thing to pay attention to for tanky teams is the threat of being sniped or cleaved. So there is the Lucian equivalent in this game, the green. I'm going to go over here to the nukers. So there is the green bookworm, who is a threat to a lot of tanky teams. The reason is it has an ability that is going to do a lot of damage and ignore defense. So if you have a defense lead and you just stacked a bunch of defense, somebody could come in with a bookworm and just one-shot you. And there's also, other snipe units. There's the blue annihilator, an attack-based sniper, and then there's also like the defense-based snipers. So we have the green and red dome fighters, which can, essentially snipe off a lot of these defense units. If you are running a tanky team, regardless of the leader you have, I recommend you run high HP on these teams to prevent yourself from being sniped out. So Bookworm ignores defense, it doesn't ignore HP, so it still has to push its way with enough damage to get through the HP. So even if you're running like a defense lead or whatever, I still recommend you guys put a lot of HP on, just because, there are units that can essentially just hard counter you if you don't. So talking about some examples of tanky teams. So if we'll do maybe a 12-star defense, because I didn't really talk about too many of those. So let's go and find an HP lead. So we'll go up to the HP lead list, and we'll just look at some universal ones. We will take Fireman at Arms, who's, it's a tank and a nuker. So he's one thing you want in your teams is to not just be hard to kill, is you also need to have some threat. So having a unit like Man at Arms who can both be tanky and do damage, he's really a great bruiser unit. Is nice for your tanky teams, and he has a 33% HP lead, which is great. So we'll start our team with him, and then we need a 4-star unit and a 3-star unit, right? So I'm gonna get rid of all of this, and we can go look at some tanky units. So we can bring in as a 4-star unit. You guys have probably fought against him. Super annoying. He is he's another bruisery unit, and he does a defense down. So that's a great thing to include into your team, is to make sure you guys have defense down. So we can have Man at Arms. Tree Bear is going to be our defense breaker. Man at Arms is a main damage dealer, and then what are we missing? So we need some sort of sustain unit. So we can go and check out our support units, and because we're doing a 12-star. We want to check out a 3-star unit, and then we already have a fire unit. We already have a tree unit. So what do we need? We need a water unit. So a great unit to think about here is the Hog Chef. Hog Chef can remove debuffs, so it's going to give us a cleanse. It's going to recover HP, so we have a healer. We have a cleanser, and Crit Dampen's also just going to help keep us tankier, and it's also going to be able to boost up our, another unit. So a great unit to consider for your team there. So Fireman at Arms, Tree Bear, Blue Hog, kind of checks all the boxes for things you need for a basic team. And again, run Corrupt on somebody. I'd probably say the Tree Bear's a great unit to run Corrupt on. You want it on... So you wouldn't want your Corrupt set on your Hog Chef, because it isn't going to do enough damage for it to really matter. You could put it on your Fireman at Arms, or you could put it on your Tree Bear. I think Tree Bear is a good choice for that. And if we want to talk about, let's maybe do a 4-star team. So we'll reset all this. We'll go back and look for another HP lead. We're going to do a 4-star tower. So we'll start with Dome Fighter is a great HP lead. It's a tank, hard to kill unit. So that's going to be our water unit, and it's going to be our HP unit. So what do we need? So maybe let's find a damage dealer. So we'll go back to the core. We could check out core. See if you like anybody here. You could check out tank. See if you like anybody here. Let me see. I'm just going to go back to any here real quick, though. And the unit that I think I'm going to pick, let's do the Red Bear. So Red Bear is so this is an interesting one. It's classified as escape and a nuker, but it is a very tanky unit. So this is a unit you can bring into a, kind of one of your tanky teams. And again, it's going to have the defense down here. Hard to kill unit, defense down, great unit to put Corrupt on. So we have our Blue Dome, we have our Red Bear, and then what's our sustain unit going to be, right? So we could go back, check out the supports. This time we need a tree sustain. And, let's say we don't have a lot of units, we just have some 3-stars. The Occult Dancer is a great sustain unit for, of the 3-star options for tree. We have healing over time and shield. It can grant, nullify, and remove debuffs. So it's a great sustain unit. So that could be your 3rd unit there. So Blue Dome, Tree Occult, and Red Bear. That kind of checks all the boxes for a workable defense. Now another type of unit that I want to talk about that you could slot into pretty much any of your tanky teams. Let me see if I can figure out where this is in the effects. Revive. So revivers are super strong units. There's not a whole lot of them. I think Bookworm is a good one if you have it, but most of you guys will probably have access to the Hog Chef. You can put this into some of your tanky teams because it has a heal and a revive. So if something dies, it comes back. So great unit to slot in there. It does have the speed lead, which you could use it for the leader skill. It's not a great amount of speed. It's only 12, but this is a low budget option if you guys are trying to get just a reviver into your teams. And of course, one common thing to do is put immortal runes on your reviver. So usually when people attack a reviver based team, they're going to try to kill your reviver first. If you put a mortal on it, they have to kill it twice, so it makes it even harder to kill. Yeah, so there you go, guys. That is just the basics of trying to put together a team. Let me know down in the comments if you want more examples of just real teams that you could put together. I hope you guys appreciate and found useful me just talking through what I think makes a good defense and just like the basics of it. Because now, hopefully with what I had just taught you, you guys should be able to take the units that you have and put together a workable defense. That's what I'm hoping to accomplish from this. Let me know what kind of defenses you guys are putting together, and if you found this helpful. Yeah, and with that, guys, just want to thank you so much again for watching. If you liked the video, give me a like, give me a subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.